Okay, guys, so this is going to be part two of the Missouri Baptist Convention logo series. Like I said at the end of part one, is I wanted to take the Missouri Baptist logo, what they already have, and I wanted to try to redo it a little bit, to redo each element to try to make it a little bit more effective, in my opinion, for what their convention stands for a little bit better, just quality of logo and appearance. So we're going to be going through what I have on my screen. I've already gone through the hard work of trying to work through and find the best thing that I think works for the logo. As you can see, I am a little all over the board with as far as how many attempts I go through, and I just want to walk you step by step through my process. So the initial logo itself is this one up here, this Missouri Baptist logo. Below is kind of a little bit of what I worked with. This is the semi-finished product. Later on I'll show you what I actually finished with. But this is kind of how I got, or where I got to through my design process. So we're going to start with just the initials, the MB, with that cross through the middle of it. Initials are kind of hard to deal with as far as trying to find a creative way to use them. So I just kind of start just typing out MB in a few different fonts. I really liked this one right here. I believe this is Babes or Bebes. Yeah, and that's the font that I stuck with throughout the rest of the making. But we're just kind of throwing some fonts and some letters together. I was having a really difficult time trying to think of a creative way to do it. But then I got thinking about Missouri and Baptist, trying to utilize some negative space with it. And that's where I came up with, started thinking about the state idea. What if we were to create a outline of the state, just a simplified version of it, and see what that kind of works out for. So we're going to slide all the way over here. Google is great. It provided me the state outline. And that's kind of what I worked with, try to make it a little bit more geometric. Try to round the edges a little bit, kind of giving it a little bit more rusticness to it. The edges are worn. Like I said, I was trying to get a little bit more rustic with the appearance while not losing the modern. So here we have the clean lines, yet we have some curved edges here. So coming back over here, I drag it over here and make it smaller. Here you see kind of go with the state with the B at the end, and that's when I get the great idea of placing the B inside the state. And this is where kind of my idea takes off. I really like this idea. Don't think the lowercase b works though, so I start working with the uppercase B. I use a few of these fonts already. I use the Babes capital B, and I really liked it. It was too sharp to be in a rounded state outline. So I went online and found some free fonts to try to see if I could find a rounded font that would work well. And I was rather unimpressed with all of these. You'll see that it's kind of all around here. See, here's that's rounded too, but it's a little bit sharper. This is the one I ended up going with. But I ended up going in with placing this Babes B into the square, and I was able to edit it a little bit, round the corners a bit, so it matched the curve that you find in the state logo itself. So it's a little bit more uniform. I did have trouble with trying to figure out as far as like the positioning of the B. It's a hard thing to kind of center because the state is a little odd in its shape. So when it comes around to being centered, you have to kind of go more visual than you can do like actual mathematically, because if you center the B in there, it actually comes out way more right than what looks right. If you center it height-wise, it doesn't quite fit very well. So we had to go and kind of visually center it. And we end up with this one right here, which you see I brought up here, and then I brought in the color from the B to kind of match. So this would be like the short icon you would see at the top of a website, something along those lines, or just throwing something at the end of a or in the corner of a Instagram post or whatnot. I'm not convinced with the B on the inside. I kind of just like the simplified state as an icon. We'll see more of that as we move into the next phase. So here I try to work with this Missouri Baptist word mark. Like I said in the previous video, I don't like the slant of the M. I think it needs to be more up and down to help with the justify on the left-hand side. And I don't like this gap that it leaves here. I think it looks just a little, it's not large enough to look like it's meant to be there, and it's not, and so it kind of just looks like they did the best they could, but kind of left it. It just feels unfinished. So I was bringing in these curved fonts that we used over here to see if what we could find out. We use this one up here. Looks just, you still run into the kind of just a little too kid like for a Baptist state convention. Just not quite as official as it probably needs to be. And so I go back to this Babus font. Again, it's kind of it's a sharp font. It's really nice to look at. It's well spaced. It's a little, you know, closer together than this one up here. I really like it. The only thing that we run into issues with is if we put the Missouri Baptist next to this state with a B in the middle of it, the B's won't quite match because of this being rounded. So what I ended up doing with it was I did the same thing that I did with the B, but with the whole word. So we come in here and we give it a slight round, so it's not quite as sharp on the edges, but it still keeps its boldness. It still keeps kind of a very rustic feel, all caps, bold lettering, close together, feels like it's been stamped on something. I like the feel it gives, and I really like it in comparison to what we have here before with the Missouri Baptist from the previous one. So bringing it all together is where we come over here. We get this, the word mark with the state. Like I said, I kind of really fell in love with just the state itself without the B. But we have a finished state with the B inside and just a finished word mark. And I utilize the colors that we found in the original logo to kind of see what that looks like. At this point, I'm pretty happy with our overall feel. Not quite sure how I feel about the state with the B. It's visually, depending on how I look at it and when I look at it, how much I like it and how much I don't like it. But moving on to our Missouri Baptist, the final logo. I really wanted to see what we could do about bringing in the history. And like I said, I really enjoy kind of the badge-like logos. So here, I developed this little established mark for when the Baptist Convention was established, which was 1835. And I started working around with that in the state to try to find ways that it works. I really like the stacked approach, especially if you have more space. You're trying to take up more space. It would look good on the back of a t-shirt, on a hoodie, even a big trucker hat. These days that would look really good. I like this where I took just the word mark with the state and threw the established inside of it. Now, it won't work from far away. As you can tell, it's hard to read. But if you have anything where it's going to be up close or it's going to be large, like the bottom of a sign, I really like the look of this. I think this established in 1835 works better than the B. I think it's more visually and aesthetically pleasing to the eye than the B itself. So here, this is something that I really like. But like I said, I wanted to try something with the badge, like the square pentagon. So this is where I get up here, and I'm just messing around. These aren't the worst, and I honestly think that there's probably something in here that we could work out a few kinks and make it work really well. But at this point, I'm pretty set on this logo right here. I'm confident in it. I think it looks great. I think it will hold up. It'll stand the test of time for quite some years. And I think it also matches just everything that we're trying to do. It's an established convention. Everything looks good. It brings the history into it. There's a little rustic. Uh, there's a rustic feel to it. It's been around. It's a little weathered, but it's still very modern looking. It's something that lots of people will love to have on their shirts, their hats, that sort of thing. This whole the state with the establishment and the word mark works really well in my opinion. So this is where I just kind of stop and where we come to here, and I just mess around with the colors a little bit. Like I said, I really like this. I think this is good, but with the established on the inside, it works very well, especially if it's something going to be up close or something larger. This would be a great thing to throw on a sign that's meant to be read from far away. Like I said, you could definitely, the readability of them from far away without anything in the state is just, it's fantastic. It's simple. Using just the state for things would work great. Like I said, I'm pretty hesitant to use something like this. We'll drag that over this side. But using this itself, the outline of the state, throw in the right color with it. I mean, that's usable. That's something that looks good. It's simple. Most people who are familiar with the state of Missouri will recognize it. Even those who are not, if they looked up the state, they'd be able to see the state within this outline. These are kind of by creating multiple variations of the same logo, it allows you to kind of utilize which ones fit each medium better. So you're able to put something simple like this on small things and pictures, that sort of thing, just like a watermark. You're able to kind of utilize something like this when you have something big and vertical, more horizontal signage, and stuff that you're seeing from far away. But by themselves, you still know what they're talking about. Together, they all work together. They're all part of the same family. This is something that I would be very pleased with if I was looking to find a new logo with Missouri Baptist. This would be the route that I would go. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you really like this or if you really hate it, leave a comment. Feel free to let us know what you would do different, which ones you like the best, maybe a direction that you would have gone as opposed to what we did. If you found this to be helpful, if you found this to be enjoyable, please like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Comment, start a discussion with us. We'd love to help. If you have any questions or if you're looking to utilize our services, feel free to send me an email. My email is going to be right down here. Or check out our website. We're going to put this on our website as a show to our process of what we're going through. And it's also going to be in our blog post. So thank you for being a fan of Anthro Branding. Thank you for watching this video. And I look forward to our next one with you.